Miss Risa to get her flowers. So this series will be entitled The Lies He Told. Don't it sound like a Lifetime movie? Yeah. So buckle your seatbelt because this is going to be a ride. All right. On January 5th, 2020, I contacted a restaurant called Phil and Derek's here in Houston. My best friend at the time, remember I'm not saying anybody's government or real name or nickname or what have you. My best friend Naya was in town for her birthday. Her birthday is January 5th. And we wanted to do brunch. We wanted to do Sunday Fun Day. We had an agenda that day, but we did not have any reservations at all. So I took it upon myself that morning to contact Phil and Derek's. And when I called, a gentleman answered the phone. "Thanks for calling Phil and Derek's. This is Jared. How can I help you?" I said, "Hi, Jared. My name is Jillian. I'm trying to call to see if I can make a reservation today for a party of 5. Jared says, "Oh, that's impossible, Miss Jillian. We don't have any reservations, like same day reservations. I mean, it's really busy on a Sunday." I said, "Man, come on. It's my best friend's birthday. She's just in town until, the morning, or it was like Tuesday or something." And I said, "Please, you sure you can't squeeze us in anywhere?" He put me on a brief hold. He came back to the phone and he said, "I got you." I said, "Bet, my dog. I appreciate that." And he said, "Hey, but when you come, bring me a Powerade." I said, "A Powerade?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What color you want?" He said, "Blue." I said, "Bet." All right. So I round up all the girls. It's 5 of us. Hop in the truck. We drive to Phil and Derek's. We get there, I think, around 1 o'clock. I think the reservation was for 1. We go in. Actually, we didn't go in. I hopped out at the valet. I think I was the last one to get out of the truck, but I had the blue Powerade in my hand. And I saw this man walk outside. And he was dressed as if he was a part of the staff at Phil and Derek's. And so I walk up to him and I said, "Are you Jared?" And he says, "Yeah." He said, "Do we know each other?" I said, "Here, your Powerade." And he was like, oh, you bought it." I said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "I wasn't gonna forget about you." So we broke contact. I go in, we get seated at the section, we eat, we laugh, we talk, we drink. A guy, fine ass man, walk up to me that was sitting at the bar. He was telling me his life story. "Hey, baby, I work in the oil and gas field. I got that bread, I got this, I got that." And I'm intrigued. I'm like, "Oh, okay, boo, take me out, do something with me." So Jared walks up and Jared says, "Hey man, she already married." I look at my homegirls. I said, "I'm married." I don't see no. I said, "Sir, I don't even know that man." I'm capping at this point because of course I just brought you a Powerade, but we was in there for a couple of hours, and so he had spotted me from the side of the room talking to a whole nother man. So he comes over and he tells him that. So we leave Phil and Derek's. We go to the address. We party. I'm in there, bottles. Just us doing what we doing, celebrating a beautiful woman and making it another year. So my best friend leaves that Tuesday, and I eventually start to have a beeper. I go to the CVS Minute Clinic. I go in and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sick as a dog. I don't know what's going on. Y'all, what's going on?" They check me. They say, "Well, you don't have influenza A or B. You don't have, pneumonia." They were just telling me I didn't have any of the normal stuff. But in 2020, nobody knew what the fuck COVID was. I had COVID because guess what? Naya had came in from Dubai. Most people that were catching COVID at the very beginning, they was catching it from people that was coming from out the country. So case in point, I was sick as a dog. I want to make it clear that I did not have Jared's number or any way to contact him after I left Phil and Derek's that day. We didn't exchange numbers, any of that shit. I'm gonna just put that out there. So of course, it's gonna be parts of the story that's gonna make me really look dumb. I ain't gonna lie. I done told y'all this before. This is a disclaimer. So I'm sick as a dog for a good 2 weeks. All right. One day it fell on my heart to call Phil and Derek's again. So I called up there and I said, "Hey, y'all got a manager there by the name of Jared?" And they say, "Yeah." I said, "He there?" They said, "No, he not here." They said, is there a message that I could leave for him?" I said, "Well, to be honest with you, I really want to leave a good review because he took care of us. He made sure that we had what we needed, yada, yada, yada." And so they said, "Okay, let me write your name and your number down, and I'm going to have one of the owners to call you back." So one of the owners did contact me back like within the day. And just for this story, her name is Maria. Maria contacts me and she says, "Hey, I got your number and your name, and they told me that you want to make a review on one of our managers." And I said, "Yes, Jared was amazing. I appreciate his customer service. We from Mississippi, so we know about being hospitable, and we just wanted to thank you and to thank him for just a lovely evening, a lovely, brunch or what have you." And she said, "Okay, I'm gonna definitely pass the message along. Thank you so much." We ended the call. I called back up there again because at that point I was trying to figure out in my mind why that man had told that man that I was married. Where he get that shit from? He knows somebody I don't know. So I called back. I called back up there. I said, hey, may I please speak to Jared? And the man said, hold on one second. Jared picked up the phone. Hello, this is Jared. I said, Jared, I don't know if you remember me, but this is Jillian, the one that brought you that Powerade 2 weeks ago. He said, yeah, man, what's up? What's up? I said, how you doing? He said, man, I'm good. We just busy, man. I said, that's cool. I'm not going to hold you too long. I said, but I have a question for you. I said, I don't know if you remember this, but that Sunday that I came in there, a young man was speaking to me, and you walked up and you told that man that I was married. I said, now, why would you do some shit like that? I said, I was really trying to get that man number. And that's me. I'm ignorant like this. So I asked the question. I said, why would you say something like that to him? He said, well, dudes come in here all the time, and they be, on women, and women really don't be interested. So, I felt, I could come over there and kind of relieve you a little bit because I ain't really think you was feeling it, nigga. I said, oh, okay. He said, but I got to get back to what I'm doing. Is there any way that I can get your number, or I can give you my number, and then, we can talk offline? I don't really want to be on these folks' phone. I said, oh, that's cool. He gave me his number. And so we started chit-chatting. We started talking. Maybe about a week later, that's when everything started to shut down here in Houston because of COVID. Now, part 2 is where it really gets going. Part 2 of the lies he told. So we exchanged phone numbers, and we immediately start texting. About a week later, that's when we find out that the city is on shutdown because of COVID. So our very first date, red flag number 1, because it's going to be several, just so you know, it's going to be several. First red flag, hey, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna be at work all day. Is it okay if I pull up on you? We can do dinner at your house. You don't have to cook. We can order a piece of some lights on, something like that. And I said, okay, cool. My son, the only son that I had at the time, which for this series, his name is Walker. Walker was with his dad that day, so I had the house to myself. It had to be a Wednesday or Thursday. So I ordered the pizza, and he showed up. And so we sat, we talked, and we began to start having engaging conversations about who we were to one another, such as, hi, I'm Jill, I'm from Mississippi, I have 1 kid, yada, yada, yada. All right. When you initially have a conversation with someone, you don't expect them to give you any information that's not true, right? So this is how our conversation went. Jared tells me that he was originally from Louisiana. He was born and raised in Louisiana. His grandmother, raised him. He had a daughter. He had been married before, and his ex-wife cheated on him. Ex-wife cheated on him. And she actually lives in Germany on a teaching job. He told me that he had a house with his ex-wife in Humble, Texas. He told me during this conversation, this is our very first initial conversation over pizza. He told me that his mother was a physician. He told me that his mother had him at such a young age that, of course, his grandmother had to raise him. Of course, it's believable. Of course. He told me that he went to culinary art school at the Arts Institute. He stated that he had 3 vehicles, that his credit score was amazingly high. And he also told me that his lease was about to be up at his apartment, and he was getting ready to move out. And one last thing that he told me is that he used to play football. Not arena football, but he used to play football in high school. Okay. Also, in addition to going to the Arts Institute for Culinary Arts, he also said that he graduated from U of H, which is University of Houston, with a degree in hotel management. I believe he said hotel management. By him being in the restaurant business, I definitely believe that. Okay. As the time goes on, as the parts come, as they start to move, I'll be exposing most of it. And if I remember other things, I'll make sure to let you know. So, like I said before, this was our initial conversation with one another. I told him, I said, wow, that is impressive. That's a lot. He also told me that he had, money in his savings and stuff. He's a great saver. He knows he's financially stable, things of that nature. Okay. I said, okay, cool. No problem. That's awesome. I said, so the 3 cars, where are the 3 cars at? I mean, I've only seen you in the Camaro. And he was like, yeah, I keep those other 2 at my mom's crib because, I live in an apartment complex. So, I don't want to have all my cars over there. Okay, bet. That's understandable. I got you. I said 3 cars. That's crazy. All right. So the night goes on. I'm not going to sit here and cap one night. If you follow me, you follow me. That was a one night. And that man never left my house. He went to work. He would come back the next day. He went to work. He would come back the next day. So during the time when I met him, he was driving a Camaro. One night, he picked me up from Prospect Park. I got an Uber there. He got off of work at Phil and Derek's, and then he came and scooped me up. I noticed on that night that he had a pink tag on his Camaro, and there was a name on the back, and the name said Cece. So that was weird to me because his name was Jared. So we go home, and I didn't bring it up or anything. So as time goes by, we basically shacking. But let me be clear. The first week that he started living with me, he was paying my bills. He paid my rent. He was buying groceries. He was doing for my son at the time. He was most definitely paying my household bills. And I was pocketing all my money. Most definitely was. So one day he comes home, and now he's in a Nissan Altima. And I said, what happened to the Camaro? He said, I'm letting it sit for a minute. I need to get some tires on it or what have you. I keep spinning out trying to come home. So, I'm going to just let it sit. So now, I'm going to drive the Nissan. I said, okay, cool. I remember you saying you had a couple cars. I said, so what a Camaro at? He said, oh, I got it sitting over in my mom's crib. I said, okay, cool. He says, so I really would like for you to meet my daughter. Now, he told me on one of our initial conversations that he goes and he sits at the grandmother's stop sign to get his daughter from school every day because her mother cannot do so. I said, wow, you pick up your kid every day? Like from the bus? He said, yeah, she's out there in Humble. So I drive out there to Humble, make sure she gets off the bus fine and everything. And then sometimes, I go and take her to get something to eat, and then I just run her back to her mom's. But she's going to school in her grandmother's district. It never dawned on me to ask him why grandmama can't get her off the bus. Never dawned on me. So I said, okay, cool. And so I noticed that he worked extremely long hours. And when I mean extremely long hours, I mean he would sometimes leave at 6 in the morning and he wouldn't be back till like 2 in the morning the next morning. And Phil and Derek's, they stay open until about 2, but he would say, no, we got inventory, babe. We doing this, we doing that. So of course, when you're in a restaurant business, I know, they have long hours. I do know that. So I ain't knock him. I ain't asked too many questions at the beginning because I was like, surely he working. He paying these bills, he working. I ain't worried about it. That's why I fucked up. I didn't ask shit. And I'm going to tell you now, when I get to part 3, you'll start to see the lies he told. Part 3, the lies he told. So one day I said, babe, since you're going to pick your daughter up, how about you bring her back to the house and we go get something to eat? I got Walker. Let's just go and get something to eat. He said, okay, let me hit her mom up. Let me make sure that's cool. I'm gonna let you know something. So he calls me back about an hour later. He was like, babe, I'm bringing Cece. Cool. So he brings Cece to my townhouse at the time. And I say, all right, let's go to Toro, hibachi spot around the corner, because my baby love hibachi, right? So Walker is excited to see this baby. However, Cece is very quiet. She's very weird. And I hate to say this about a 7-year-old baby, but I know children, and I know when children are fearful. And this baby was scared. So I said, babe, does she talk? Like, is she okay? And he was like, yeah, babe, she just quiet. She quiet like a daddy. I said, okay. I said, that makes sense. So I said, baby, get whatever you want. I'm gonna pay for it. Get whatever you want. Now, at this point in time, I did not know what I know now. So I'm embracing this baby because I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna be with this man and we, having talks, because at this point we was having talks about family. I said, I love kids. I'm accepting of her. Hell, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out what size this baby wear in clothes. That's just the woman I am. So we all eating. I noticed that she not eating. I said, what's wrong with her? And why did she get steamed rice? And all of us got fried rice. He was like, she don't like fried rice. She don't like fried rice. She don't like a lot of stuff. I said, okay, so she picky. That's cool. We go and we take her to an apartment over by the mall. I never forget it. And we drop her off. The next morning, that nigga wake up in a rage. I'm in the bathroom. I didn't know what was going on. So I come out and I say, babe, what's wrong? You good? I'm thinking there's something going on at the job. He in a hurry. He putting on clothes. I said, babe, what's wrong? He said, man, her mama come texting me talking about, I lied to her talking about it was just gonna be me and her going out to eat last night, and Cece went home and told her mama that I was out to eat with you and your son, and now it's the whole thing, and now she won't even let me see my daughter no fucking more. Man, I'm so tired of this shit. He throwing shit, and I said, man, wait a minute, hold on. I said, now woman, I can holler at her for you. Like for you. I can talk to her because maybe she is disrespected. She ain't met me yet. Don't bring nobody around my motherfucking baby if I don't know you, And so he said, no, baby, that's bullshit. That bullshit. He going in. I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna let you handle it. I said, but you got rights to your baby, right? Like, you able to see your baby because you told me you was on child support. Yeah, man, I'm on child support. I said, okay. Matter of fact, every time I look like that, just know it's something behind it when I look like that. I said, okay, well, child support order, you get visitation rights. She can't deny you your baby, man. I said, still trying to get this baby your last name or whatever because of how the situation went down. Let me explain to you how he told me the situation went down of him finding out that CC was his baby. He used to work at Buffalo Wild Wings for 12 years. That man said that a woman started working at Buffalo Wild Wings and she and him had a thing. She ended up getting pregnant, but he didn't know that she got pregnant because she left Buffalo Wild Wings before she got pregnant. Obviously, they had a one night stand. And he said 4 years later, she walks into Buffalo Wild Wings with his daughter and said, meet your daughter. This is your daughter. He claimed that they went and got swabbed, got a DNA test, and it was his baby. He said he is still working to get the baby last name his last name. But right now, she got her mama last name. Okay, cool. Now, before I met this baby, I said, let me see a picture of it. He showed me a picture of it. I said, oh my God, she mixed. Damn. I said, okay, what she mixed with? He said, she mixed with Mexican. I said, okay. I said, show me a picture of her mama. He showed me a picture of the mother. But it's always a naiveness to their madness because when he showed me her page, it was her Facebook page. And I always remember names. I'm going to remember names, numbers, street numbers, all this shit. I'm going to remember all of that. So I remembered her name. So by this time, I said, okay, well, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you. Let me know. Another thing about Jared is he never wanted me to meet his family. He would always say, my mama work all the time. She ain't never, ever, available. And if she is, she in third world partying with her little hood friends. He would say shit like that. Then he said his daddy wasn't in his life. So, because he was in and out of prison all the time. And his grandmama raised him. So, he didn't really know what his daddy was. I said, okay. Out of the blue one day, he got in contact with his daddy. And he said, babe, you want to meet my dad? Absolutely. Absolutely, I want to meet your father. We went to go meet his daddy. I took pictures with his daddy. Matter of fact, I had the same dress on when I met his dad. Sure did. By this time, mind you, this was maybe 3 or 4 weeks after I had met his daughter. I said, hey, we got something to tell you. He needed to see his daddy because he wanted to tell his daddy that he had a baby on the way. Whole time that we was there, I ain't never said shit about the daughter that I had met. Never said nothing because we was too excited about our new baby that we were about to have. He said, man, you gonna go and put a ring on it and everything. And he's like, hell yeah, this my wife now, shit. Okay. So his dad started calling and checking up on his new daughter-in-law. He called me one day. He said, hey, baby, how you doing? I said, Pop, I'm good. I said, everything going well. We got a doctor's appointment set up after we leave Mississippi because at this point, I'm going to take homeboy to go see my folks in Mississippi because at this point, you got to meet Mr. Daddy. You got to meet my daddy, okay? And he was like, okay. I said, and speaking of, I forgot to tell you when I saw you that I had met your other beautiful granddaughter. He said, Chucky daughter? I said, Chucky? He said, yeah, my daughter Chucky. I said, no, not Jared, sister. I said, Jared baby. He said, Jared baby. I said, yeah, Jared daughter, CC, man, stop playing. He said, Jared ain't got no motherfucking kids. I said, man, Jared has a 7-year-old daughter. Maybe you confused because, you've been in and out and stuff. And he said, I ain't been in and out that damn long. And to be honest with you, he said, I'm gonna just tell you this. My nephew told me when I was locked up that Jared is a stone cold liar. He said, so I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't no way in the world Jared would have had a baby without telling his mama or me. Ain't no way he would have done it. He said, have you talked to his mama? I said, I ain't never met his mama. He said, exactly. Now, I got to go to church, but part 4 will be coming tonight. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, thank y'all so much for allowing me to go to church. Jesus. All right. I'm gonna dial this thing back. You guys have a lot of valid questions, and I know that I left a lot of things out, but I did not do it intentionally because I'm sitting around here trying to give y'all a low-level overview of my story when I really supposed to be giving y'all every specific detail, and I apologize for that. So let's get back to it. At the very beginning, I told you guys that the brunch occurred on January 5th of 2020. After the brunch, I got extremely sick. My best friend left that Tuesday. By that Wednesday or by that Tuesday night, I was already running a fever. Went to the minute clinic. They told me, hey, it ain't the flu, none of that stuff or whatever. Nobody at this time knew about COVID, okay? I'm almost deathly ill on the couch for a good 2 weeks. My kid wasn't here with me or anything, so I was basically trying to fend for myself. I started feeling a little bit better closer to maybe the end of January. I remember where I was. I remember making the phone call to Phil and Derek's and asking for him and to say, hey, I want to put in a good review on him. Then I remember getting the call back from the owner or the co-owner. And she told me, hey, we appreciate that. Boom, boom, boom. I called back shortly after. This was not in the same day, guys, but I called back shortly after. And I got his number. I'm not going to say that it was the same night, but it was shortly after. He said, hey, I'm working like crazy. Let me come to your house. We're going to order pizza. We're going to talk it out. And that's what happened. Every day after that night, he did not leave my townhome, meaning that he would go to work and he would come back. Okay. That one-nighter did produce a little beautiful 3-year-old. It did. Okay. I just want to make that clear. I'm really not too concerned about the dates right now or the months or whatever, because I'm trying to make sure that I give you guys this high level overview so there won't be any discrepancies in the story, because I am telling 100% truth on this shit. Can't even sit here and make this up. When I met the daughter in February. We went out for hibachi because someone commented and said, well, the shutdown didn't happen until March, sis. Cool. I appreciate that. Because, see, the shutdown for me happened when I didn't go back to work after I got sick. Okay, so the Houston shutdown probably happened in March. But at some point when people started getting sick early or mid-February or early or late March, or late February, Philadelphia was doing like small capacity. Like you couldn't go in there and do brunch on a Sunday like we normally do. And, the DJ in there, that shit wasn't happening. So like I said, again, I will probably be off about the dates. I apologize about that. We took the daughter to eat. And then shortly after I met his daughter, I met his dad. Okay. I met the dad in February. All right. When I met the dad, I knew when I met him that I was pregnant. When I met the daughter, I did not know that I was pregnant. Okay. So with that being said, I want to start part 4, but I also want to clarify something else that I did not tell you guys. I met his dad in the latter part of February, but on February 28th, he proposed to me on the side of the bed. There was no, exotic engagement or whatever, like, hey, will you marry me? You're about to have my child. I want this for life with you. This is for lifers. All that shit. Yes. Okay. I said yes. I remember going to the nail shop that day. Facebook blowing up. Instagram blowing up. Yeah, she getting married. Yada, yada, yada. I remember all of that. Okay. So now we're going to enter into how the rest of the conversation went with dad. But we're also going to tap into another thing, because now I am going to talk to you about the ex-wife and the story about that. Okay, guys. Part 4 of the lies that he told. So I quickly get off the phone with his daddy, and I remembered that I saw the girl's Facebook page, the alleged baby mama. So I go to her Facebook page and I start stalking. I did find a picture of Cece on her page, and there was a comment that was on that girl's picture, and it was from an older African-American woman. That lady commented and said, look at Granny's baby. The woman had Cece's last name, and the mom had Cece's last name. So at that time, I knew, ain't no way this could be this boy's biological baby. I waited for him to come home, and I said, Jared, I have a question for you, and please believe me that if I ask you a question, I already know the answer to it, so please don't lie to me. I said, is Cece your biological kid? That boy looked at me and he said, yeah, that's my baby. I already told you about, the Buffalo Wild Wings. I said, I hear you. I said, but let me tell you what I found out today. Today, I contacted your father and we had a conversation. And that conversation went a little bit about him asking how I was doing. And also I told him that I had met Cece and he had no idea who Cece was. He told me that you don't have any children, Jared. So are you going to be honest, or I need you to tell me what's going on. That man looked at me and he said, that ain't my baby. He said, but I was with her mom for some time and I was about to get ready to try and help raise her because her dad is in jail. Her mom is still legally married to the father of that child. And I got so close to her and her baby that I told her that I would take responsibility as a man to help her raise her baby. And I looked at that man and I said, so you mean to tell me that you went and picked up another man's baby and claimed that child as your own and brought it to this situation? And why would you do that? Why would you do that? I mean, because, I said, but you also told me that she was on child support. So that was a lie too? Like, you're not on child support? I give her, I pay half of her rent. I said, you pay half of her rent? You pay half of this woman's rent, Jared. Yeah, I'm doing the best that I can to try to help her. Y'all, all of that was a lie. That man was not paying nobody's half rent. He was not doing that. So that was the very first lie that I found out quickly. But as this series progresses, you will find out how many lies this man has told me. And they don't stop there. Part 5 coming up. Part 5 of the lies he told. So time progresses. We ended up going to Mississippi. He definitely meets my family. We go to Piccadilly. He tells my parents at Piccadilly, like, oh yeah, I used to be a very big dude. And I'm not going to lie, that man was heavy. Over 350 pounds easy. Now he's about 186 in current time. 186 pounds. So he was telling them about how he got weight loss surgery done, how he's been able to maintain it, because believe it or not, the boy could not eat a full Lunchable. So I knew he had some type of gastric sleeve or something like that. He told them the same things that he told me on the very first night. How he was raised in Louisiana, how, his his grandmother, helped raise him, and that was his mom until he found out that, later on down the line that his real mama was his alleged sister, which she was there his entire life, from my understanding. And he just went down the line and he was telling them everything that he had told me. On the way back from Mississippi, we came the Beltway, so we passed through the Atascocita Humble area. He said, babe, you want me to take you over there to where me and my ex-wife used to live? I said, you talking about like your old house? He was like, yeah, because I know at some point we probably gonna be looking for houses, so I kind of want to show you the house that we stayed in because I want a much bigger house this time. I said, okay, that's cool. We drive into a subdivision and we landed on a random street. Now, after the whole baby situation with Cece, I left a part out about Cece, but I'll get back to that. We go down a random street and he points out to a house and he said, babe, that's the house that we used to have. Now, I want to tell you guys the story about the ex-wife and the situation with him. He told me, remember in one of those parts, I told you that he said that the wife cheated on him when they were married. So the storyline about the ex-wife is that he was working out of town because he was training for different Buffalo Wild Wing restaurants that were up and coming in different local cities like Austin, San Antonio, Dallas. He's doing that. He claims that the man next door was sleeping around with his ex-wife and he came home one day, unexpected. His wife was home from work. She was not expecting him to be home. He told me that that man next door was sitting on his couch, on Jared's couch, holding his remote, watching his TV, butt ass naked. This man told me that they got into a tussle. The next door neighbor tried running out of the front door and he ends up shooting him in the leg. I asked Jared, did he go to jail for that? And he told the officers that it was self-defense and they let him off. He did not do any jail time because of that, because the man was technically in his home. I believed that story. I did, guys. I believed it. And I know it makes me look like a fucking fool, but I did. I believed it. I really believed that that woman cheated on him and he shot that next door neighbor in the leg. I really did. We pull off that street and we head home. Before we could make it home, I was on my phone on Harris County Appraisal District. I was smart enough this time. I'm dumb about a lot of shit that's gonna occur on this series. But I was smart enough to get the house number, the name of the street, subdivision, all of that. I punched it into A.K.A. property search. The same owners have been owning that house since 2011, since that lot was sold, since the bricks was put on that motherfucker. It was already there. Nobody, no other couple had that house. I did a little bit more deeper research. I took the owner's name and I plugged it in Facebook. I got to the point where I searched so hard and so long that not only did I find the owners of that house on Facebook, I found the picture of when they posted on Facebook that the lot was sold and they were standing there where there was foundation still on that motherfucking lot. The house ain't even been built. They were a newlywed Caucasian couple. And that was not a picture of Jared and his ex-wife. We made it home. I got out that car. I came upstairs. I got in that bed and I put my head to the back of that headboard. And he said, babe, you feeling okay? Because mind you, I'm pregnant. And I looked at him and I said, I have a question about that house. So, with that house, when you moved there, he told me. I said, you moved there, it's on so-and-so date. I said, and you and your ex-wife used to live there. Yeah, babe, that's where we lived. I said, okay. I said, so who is Ashley and Justin? He said, I don't know Ashley and Justin. I said, because Ashley and Justin been owning that house since 2011. He said, babe, where you get that from? I said, because this HCAD. And I turned the phone around. I said, because this is HCAD. You never owned that fucking house. So who is Ashley and Justin if they're the owners of the house? That man told me, babe, man, I don't even want to tell you this. I said, tell me what? All right, man. When me and my ex-wife split, Ashley and Justin let me crash in their garage. They got their garage set up like a man cave. And to be honest with you, babe, you saw the boxes in the garage when we passed through there. That's actually where I stored my shit at. I said, Jared, I don't even believe that you know Ashley and Justin. He said, babe, I used to work with Justin at Buffalo. Again, it's another Buffalo Wild Wings. I said, Jared, yeah. I don't know how much more of this I could take, babe. I promise you. I promise you ain't lying. I said, okay, cool. He got so upset and so angry because I kept saying, all right, cool. All right, cool. Don't even worry about it. Okay, cool. He kept getting so angry that he ended up storming out of that house and he was gone for hours. I have no clue where he went. So now that we have talked about the supposed house that they lived in, let me get to the part about the ex-wife. So I asked him, I said, and you say that you got married when? He told me a date. Might have been 2015, 2016. I said, and you said her name was Pierce Wood. He told me her last name. We're going to say it's Pierce Williams. I said, why ain't no divorce decree for you and Pierce? He said, we got married in Louisiana. I said, oh, okay, y'all got married in Louisiana. I said, okay, I ain't checked Louisiana. He said, oh yeah, if you check the records, they do. I said, okay, bet, I'm gonna check them. I'm a damn sure check them. He said, why are you asking me all of these questions? I said, because you done lied about having a daughter. You done lied about the house. Now, if you do have an ex-wife, I really kind of want to know now what really happened with y'all, because ain't no way in the fuck you done shot somebody. Ain't no way you done shot nobody. So now let's move into the ex-wife story. He explained to me about how he met his ex-wife. He told me that him and his ex-wife, they met in high school. They were actually high school sweethearts, went to prom together, the whole nine. They had been together for years. He told me that shortly after they graduated, they decided to go ahead and get married down in Louisiana. And he told me that him and her were unable to ever conceive a child due to the fact that he was very obese in the earlier part of his life, and also up until around the age of 28, because he did tell me that he got the gastric sleeve surgery. He told me that it was impossible for him to have kids. His stuff just didn't work. And I said, wow, that's crazy. He said, and to be honest with you, it is so crazy that you got pregnant by me, because I didn't ever think I would be able to have kids. I said, well, I mean, you done lost a lot of weight, babe. Like, I'm trying to be encouraging. I'm trying to let him know, like, hey, you're not big no more. Because at that point I saw that there was a lot of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Low self-esteem there. So I was like, I don't want you to start feeling insecure about yourself. It's okay. So we move on. He talks to me about the whole story, about what I said in part 5, about how he caught her cheating with the man, yada, 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 So as I have now currently found out that he was never married, I approach him about it. I say, hey, I could not find a divorce decree or marriage license for you and your ex-wife. I said, so of course I have told you this before, and I'm gonna tell you this again. If I ask you a question, I already know the answer to it. So you might as well go ahead and let me know. Have you ever been married in your life? That man looked at me like he always do. And he sat with that shit. And he said, yeah, we got married. Yeah, babe, I told you I was married. I said, okay, cool. All right, cool. So once again, I had to tell him, I talked to your daddy. Your daddy said you ain't never been married to Pierce. He had to flip that shit so quick. He said, I don't really want you talking to my daddy. I said, and why is that? He said, because my daddy lie a lot. Go figure. I said, okay. He said, of course my daddy ain't gonna tell you about Pierce, because I caught him trying to fuck Pierce at a house party. I said, do what? He said, yeah, the nigga trying to fuck his own daughter-in-law. I said, come on, bro. He said, man, my dad get high, he get drunk, he get fucked up, and to be honest with you, he will try to fuck you too. I'm gonna just be honest. And I said, no, I don't get that from Pop. I don't get that from Pop. Now, I do understand that people have a past. There may have been times where his daddy may have gotten a little too loose in certain situations, but I did not believe that his daddy tried to hit on the ex-girlfriend. And at this time, he was saying his ex-wife. I did not believe that. So I ended up finding Pierce on Facebook. I did not approach her. I did not communicate with her at all. But I did go to her Facebook page, and I did notice that she was currently still living in Houston, Texas. She did have on her profile that she was single. There were no pictures of her and Jared. She was currently in Houston. Like, there were pictures of her at different places in Houston. Different places. She was not in Germany. She was not in Germany. Not at all. And she does not even look like the type that would even be a teacher. I really don't know what her profession is, but she did not look like that type. So he said, and speaking of Paris, she was at my job 2 weeks ago. I said, at your job doing what? He said, she was up there with her homegirls. I said, but I thought you told me that she lived in Germany. He said, man, she told me that she was back for a couple of weeks. He's still lying. Still fucking lying. I said, he here for a couple weeks. If she here for a couple weeks, I said, that doesn't even make sense, Jared. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. So, and all in all, I did get him to admit to me that he had never been married. He ain't never had no kids, and he never did live in that house. I did get him to admit that. And I also told him, I said, Jared, I do know that you were born in said hospital at said time and said date. I said, so right now, this is the time where we really stop the lies, because for whatever reason, you have a problem. And I'm not the type of woman that you have to lie to, because I would have liked you regardless without the lies. Now, granted, people, I do know that there were several red flags before we got here. I already know this. In the back of my head, I knew that I didn't want to be a woman with two baby dads. I ain't want that for my life. So I tried working with him through it. On the next part, I will tell you about how we tried to do counseling, premarital counseling, and how they went. Part 6, part 7, the lies he told. So now we're moving into that place where we really need to do premarital counseling. And honestly, we need to do personal counseling. He needs his own therapist. I need my own therapist. And I told him, I said, I am willing to walk and to work with you through anything, but you cannot continue to keep lying to me. You cannot keep doing this. I told him that I was unaware if he had been lying his entire life, but I know that I am going to continue praying for you. I still wanted to be married. I still desired to be married so badly. And I stuck with that man through premarital counseling, through all of that. So we started going through counseling. And I'm not going to lie, the lady handled the both of us with a lot of grace. She triggered a lot of demons within that relationship. She really did. Up to the point where he told me, he said, hey, I think she's biased. I really want a male to do our counseling. Let's not go to her anymore. And I agreed. I told him, I said, if you feel that way, I do want the both of us to be comfortable. So if you do feel that she is biased or, if you don't think she's the best fit, we can most definitely move forward with another counselor. So we tried allowing my cousin and his wife to counsel us. And then that's when I broke the ice and I told them, y'all, this man is literally an habitual liar. Like, he is a liar. And I don't know if I am taking the right step here. They told me that I should basically investigate on why he's lying like this. And what, like, in other words, ask him, why does he feel like he needs to lie to you? And then build from there. And they worked with us. Now, his reason to all of us for why he was lying was because he knew that in order to keep a woman of my caliber, he knew that he was going to have himself together. He knew that. And what dawned on me so crazy was that I had dated men that didn't have a dime to their name, and they still was honest and they still was trustworthy. And then I turned around and got crossed up with a man that did nothing but lie to me. He was paying some bills, but I deserved better. So, and all in all, marriage counseling did not work for us. Well, premarital counseling, it did not work for us. I prayed. I got through it. He went to every doctor's appointment with me, for kid. He was there every step of the way. And I said to myself, I said, you know what, like, I'm going to take this chance. It was stupid. It was the dumbest thing. But once again, this was on me. This was totally on me. So I knew that I was dealing with a liar. I knew the things that he lied about. That was one thing. But I also told him, like, hey, don't lie to me about nothing else. Like, let's not do that. So now I want to take you into meeting his mom. Part 8, the lies he told. So at this time, I tell him, like, hey, I really want to go ahead and meet your mom. We, at least at this point, anywhere between 2 to 3 months in the game. I said, hey, I really feel like it's time that I meet your mom. You've met my family. I've met only your father. I met a couple of your cousins when we was over there visiting with your daddy. So let me meet your mom. He tells me, babe, remember I told you my mom is a doctor and, her availability is a little tight. I said, okay, cool. I said, but still, I really do need to meet her. Now, prior to me meeting her, when he told me that his mama was a doctor, when I found out his mama name, I did a Google search because he told me that she owned her own practice, and she did, it was like she was like a primary care physician. Like, she did everybody, babies, adults, she was just a PCP all around, but she had her own practice. Now I looked up all practices in Houston, Texas and surrounding areas. Her name did not come up as being a physician. Her name did not come up as being someone that owned their own practice. So I was concerned about that as well. And so he contacted her. He never told me like a date and a time that we were going to meet. One Saturday, I was at home. I probably was laying in the bed. He called me because he was at work at Feeling Deers, and he said, babe, my mom, she gonna pull up. If you want to meet her, you can come on through. Bet, I'm on my way. Put on clothes, got up there, and his mama came roughly shortly after I got there. Excuse me. I said, I walked outside, I went and met her, and I said, hi, it's so nice to meet you. He said, mama, this is Jillian. Jillian, this is my mama. I said, it's really nice to meet you. She looked me up and down, and her first question to me was, who is your OBGYN? Ma'am, hello? How you doing, ma'am? Who's your OBGYN? I said, Dr. Kathy Sander at Kelsey Sebo, one of the best in the nation. Okay, I know some folks over at Kelsey Sebo. I can always make a phone call if I need to. Now, at the time, I'm looking because I'm saying to myself, oh, maybe she's just concerned about the well-being of her grandchild, and if something were to ever happen, maybe, if I needed assistance or something, she could make a phone call. That's not what that was at all. Not what that was at all. After she asked that question, I said, oh, okay. And she said, so I have another question, though. You and him, y'all met pretty fast. You already pregnant by him? Trying to insinuate that there is no way that I could be pregnant by her child. Ma'am, it have been 2 or 3 months. We have been back to back, ma'am. So yeah, this is baby. This most definitely his baby. Ain't nobody else been at my house but your son. Yes, ma'am, this is your baby. So that had already put a bad sour taste in my mouth about her, because now you asking inappropriate questions in our first conversation at that. So I had a little trouble trying to have respect for a woman that was so disrespectful to me at the very first attempt. So later on that day, he comes home, or later on that night, he comes home, and I say to him, hey, I didn't really want to bother you about this when you was at work. However, it really bothered me about what your mom said when I met her. And he said, well, what did she say? Because I really wasn't kind of paying attention. And granted, he was not. He was at work, so he kind of left us alone a couple of times. And I mean, after she said what she said, I kind of like walked off and I was like, all right, I'm about to go ahead and go back to the house because that's weird. I remember calling my mama and telling my mama, hey, I met Jerry mama. Boom, this is what she said. My mama was like, what type of bullshit is that? My mama, y'all ignorant, and I'm gonna get to her too. So, I told him, I said, I didn't really appreciate that. He asked me what she said. I ran it to him and he said, babe, I had already told you, I really didn't want you to meet her. He always referred to her as her first name. He never really called her mom. He never did. So I said, okay, I said, I understand that you told me that she really didn't like any of your past relationships or past women or whatever. However, I am going to be the mother of your first child. Like, does that not ring a bell to her? I said, is she not gonna be like a grandmama type, you know, somebody that we will be able to rely on to like help us with the kid? He said, oh yeah, she'll be good for that. I'm sure she's pretty excited about the baby, but this all just happened so fast. Granted, it did happen so fast. Okay, cool. I said, no problem. So I get on the phone, you know, me and his daddy, we chopping it up, and I tell his daddy, I said, you know, hey, you know, I met his mom, you know, where does she work at? Because Jerry told me she's a doctor, and she had the audacity to be asking me all about my position name and stuff like that. I said, so you know, what's her deal? He said, man, that's just who she is, bro. That's just who she is. She always been like that. He said, but wait a minute now, she ain't no damn doctor. I'm gonna tell you that now. He said, if anything, she's an LVN. I said, an LVN? He said, man, that girl a damn nurse. She ain't no. He said, I don't even think she's a registered nurse. I said, no, bro, this woman got to be a doctor. She got to be a doctor. Like, ain't no way this man that told me that his mama is a damn doctor and she's a damn LVN or an RN. His daddy never lied to me. Do you hear me? His daddy never lied to me. Come to find out, his mama was an RN going to school to be a nurse practitioner at the time that I met him. When I tell you, when I had that conversation with his daddy, I waited a couple of days or so. And I asked him, he was driving me somewhere. And I asked him, I said, your mama a doctor where again? He said, remember, you know, I told you she got her own practice or whatever. I said, your mama RN. Your daddy told me your mama RN. He said, no, my mama most definitely a doctor. I said, okay, babe. I said, call your mama right now. Call her on the phone right now. And he did. But he did not put his mama on speakerphone. But I seen him dial his mama number. He said, Mom, what you tell me you was in school for? She obviously answered. I have no idea what she said to him. And she asked him, why you asked me that? He said, I just couldn't remember what you told me you was going to school for. He hung up. I said, so is she a doctor or not? He said, she's in school to get her master's in nursing. I said, so she's not an MD. Your mama ain't no doctor. I said, so that's not making any sense to me. Once again now, that's another lie that he told that he could have kept. Why in the world would you tell somebody that your mama is a full ass MD when she ain't nothing but a damn RN? Why would you say that? Part 9, I'm going back to the timeline of our relationship, but I had to get that out about me meeting his mom. Part 9, the lies he told. I stated at the very end of part 8 that I was going to get back to the timeline of our relationship so that I could really get down to the nitty-gritty of why I am doing this testimony. I do want to clarify a couple of things before I start part 9, however, because I do see all of your comments, the negative ones and the positive ones. To address a couple of the negative ones, I understand that you may be confused. Maybe you're expecting me to be exactly like Miss Risa Tisa. That's not going to happen. I'm a totally different woman and I have a totally different story. It may sound similar, but trust and believe, hands were thrown in mine to the point where almost was some killing happening. So I'll get to that. But, you know, let me just be clear that I'm going to tell this story the way that I'm going to tell it. And if you can't stick around for it, try to go and watch somebody else, because it looks like a lot of women now are coming out with their own story. So thank you for sticking around. How you have, but I'm gonna keep moving, pushing forward. Another thing that I want to clarify, I see a lot of people are still confused about the whole car situation with the tag. That was his mama's car. That was his mama's tag. Okay. The alleged baby was not his real daughter. His dad told me that, and I confirmed that that was not his real baby. I also confirmed that he was never married. I have also confirmed that he never owned a house with his ex-wife. I confirmed that his ex-wife was not in Germany teaching. I have confirmed a lot of things so far. So if you hadn't gotten caught up, try to watch parts 1 through 8. And now we're going back to part 9. All right. So moving along with the timeline. It's all screwed up, guys. It's extremely screwed up. I don't have dates. I'm gonna just be honest. Just keep in mind, my initial meeting with him was January 5th. By the end of January or the beginning of February, we met at my house to have pizza, to have a discussion. We did have a one-night stand that night. He never left. He gradually started moving things in over a course of time. February 28th, we got engaged. In March, sometime in March, I met his mom. Let's not forget, I had already met the dad in February. And so around April, May-ish, we are trying to do premarital counseling. So that's the timeline of the events right there. Also in March, we did go to Mississippi to meet my family. So that's the timeline right there. Short, sweet, simple. Don't add none to it. Don't take none away from it. It's cool. We got married June 29th, 2020. Before we got married, there are a couple of things that I want to note before the marriage started. Both of us have always had 2 cellular devices. One personal, one for work. I assumed that his second phone was always from work. He told me that the co-owners of Phil and Derek's bought that phone for him, and that's his work phone. That's where he get his work emails. That's where customers can call to make reservations in with him, leave bad reviews, whatever the case may be. I literally believed all of that. Come to find out, that was a lie. That was another phone that man had that he was paying the bill on, because I could never understand why that phone kept getting cut off. He could not handle 2 phone bills, because mind you, he's still paying all of my household bills. He paying everything. However, I am the type to go through the phones. I am. So I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. So before marrying him, I sat in the tub one night, and this will be extremely hard for me to get out. So just bear with me. The night before I married that man, I had already been praying. I had already been asking God, please fix him. And I know that's the wrong prayer. I do. I ain't no weak Christian. Now I'm pretty put together, but at that time in my life, I was vulnerable. I desired to be married. I really did. I said, God, I have been praying for this man. I have been praying for this relationship. I have been praying over this baby that isn't here yet. I do really, really care for him. And I really think and really know that he cares for me and my son. And I was talking about my oldest at the time. I said, so I need a sign. I need you to let me know if this is my husband or not. Immediately in my spirit, I felt no. I heard an audible voice tell me, this is not your husband. No. My mom was in town. My mom and my sister, they were at the house with me. And I never told them this. But God told me no. He told me no. And that next day, I still went along with it. And the sign that God gave me after telling me no was him coming home. And we had a disagreement about something. And he looked at me and he said, you ain't got to marry me if you don't want to. There should have been my chance there to say, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm probably not. We can go ahead and call all this shit off. I was the one that paid for the ceremony at the judge's office, because we didn't get married at a courthouse. We got married at a law firm. Y'all know that attorneys are judges. So, or judges are attorneys, I'm sorry. So we got married at his law firm office. We could only have a maximum of 12. His dad and his stepmom were the only 2 that showed up. His mother was not in attendance. But God had already showed me in so many ways, from the lies and from the behavior that was coming, that he was not meant to be my husband. I moved extremely fast with this man. I fell for the okie doke. I was stupid. I was confused as well. I was extremely vulnerable. And my heart felt that we could make it work. My heart felt that. Don't ever listen to your heart. Don't ever listen to your heart. Listen to God. Listen to God, because God will never, ever fail you. And now I would like to move on to part 10 to take you through, after the ceremony, everything that occurred until the end of my divorce. Part 10, the lies he told. So right after the ceremony, we go to this restaurant in the Woodlands. It was a seafood restaurant. We got married on a Sunday, and my mom and my sister, they had to fly back out. So it was just me, him, my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law, like the stepmother-in-law, I guess that's how you would phrase it. And so we're there. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm in La La Land. I'm like, you know what? I'm finally married. I'm Mrs. such and such. And I said, this feels amazing. We went home that night, do what lovers do. And, we moving on with life. I'm currently working from home. I'm pregnant. My boss at the time was like, hey, I don't want you to come in. I don't need you to be exposed. I want you and the baby to, be okay. So as time moves on, he was still actively working. He would come home, things were on the up and up. Then all of a sudden one day I got a messenger message from a young lady. For purposes of this story, her name is Erica. And Erica reached out and said, would you divorce your husband if he was cheating on you? And she just kept typing, kept hitting, and it went to my message request. So I didn't initially see it at first. And so she was like, I really need you to contact me. I need you to hit me up. Is there any way that I can get your number? She just going. And I'm like, man, who is this woman? Who is this? So by the time I get to her Facebook page or whatever, I get her full name and I ask Jared, I say, Jared, do you know this woman? He tells me, yeah, that's a stalker bitch. I said, a stalker bitch? He said, yeah, man, I was fucking with that girl for a little minute, man, and she just downright crazy. She done hit up every woman that I done been with since her. Don't pay her no mind, yada, yada, yada. I said, okay. And I said, so how she get my information? Because you got her blocked on. He told me she was blocked on everything. He said, man, I don't know. She probably went to my daddy page, seen your name, because his daddy did post pictures nonstop of me. Always posted pictures of us together, posted pictures of our marriage, posted pictures of me. When I would post pictures, he would repost the pictures. Was my dog for real, still to this day, my nigga. And so I said, okay, that's kind of strange. So I responded back to her. being the woman that I am, coming woman to woman. Hey sis, I'm Mrs. such and such, Mrs. MRS, period. Being the biggest dumb bitch in the world. I said, I know my motherfucking man, he go to work, he come home, he ain't, you know, I already know that you a stalker. I know this, that, and the third, and so I blocked him. This woman did try reaching out to me on Instagram later on, you know, in the story, all of that type of stuff. And I am going to get back to her. So something led me to start going through his devices. He did have 2 phones, one personal, one work phone. So I would always go through his phone when he was asleep. The reason I started going through his phone was because the phones would start vibrating in the middle of the night. Who calling you at 3 o'clock? Who calling you at 3? People were texting and contacting him from text-free numbers. I would try to call the number back. It would say, welcome to text-free, or however the little audio go when they don't answer the phone. So I'm like, all right, that's strange. Who are all these numbers, these random numbers? I had no idea who these people were. And at the time, I didn't even know if it was multiple people. I just thought that it might have been the crazy woman that he claimed was a stalker bitch. Come to find out, that wasn't the case at all. It wasn't the case. So I would still go and visit him, like at the restaurant and things like that. And one night, he came home and he said, babe, I'm about to start applying for other jobs. I said, what's wrong with feeling dares? He was like, to be honest with you, babe, I ain't trying to be up there no more. I said, okay. He said, they working me like a Hebrew slave. You know, I need to make adjustments because you're about to get ready to have this baby, because my due date was November 15th. He said, so I need to make sure that I am at a place where I can get FMLA, because believe it or not, he did tell me that at Feeling Dares, he did not have any insurance benefits whatsoever. And I believed him because, I mean, it was, I ain't gonna say to come in because y'all will fire me up about that, but you know, more businesses that are us's, they don't offer a lot of benefits. You know, sometimes you can barely get paid. Sometimes. So he started actively looking for other positions. He finally landed at Fish City Grill in Sugar Land, Texas. We at the time lived on the border of Cypress, Texas. So Sugar Land is a hike. It ain't that bad, but it ain't down the street either. Feeling Dares went down the street either, but you know, all right. And so he says, babe, I got an interview. They're going to be paying me, I want to say that man told me they were going to be paying him $65,000 a year. It was going to come with benefits, insurance, FMLA. So it worked out perfect. I said, okay, babe, that's perfect. He said, so when this lease is up here, I will commute right now, which he did. He commuted for a good 4 or 5 months. He said, I will start commuting, but when the lease is up, let's try to look for a house. And then, you know, maybe we can find something that'll be closer out that way. See, the thing about a narcissist is they'll try to isolate you from your family, because my family lives out here in Cypress. Yes, I'm from Mississippi, but my Mississippi family, they're out here. My help is out here. I said, okay, babe, we married. So, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna support you. You know, we gonna do such and such. So he starts working at Fish City Grill. When he starts working at Fish City Grill, one beautiful day in October, I am headed out for not only a nail appointment, but I am headed out for, to vote. It was voting time. I don't even know who I was gonna vote for, but I was gonna vote. I get to the 3rd stair in the townhome. I slip and fall and I roll over. And when I pick my leg up, my foot was hanging like Dak Prescott was. I had broke my ankle in 3 places. There was no one at home with me. He was in Sugar Land and Fish City Grill. The God thing about this is that I had my key in my hand that had the fob to the garage, so that anybody that needed to come through, they could come through the garage, whether there was a paramedics, anybody in my family. So I immediately called my cousin, Coco. And Coco said, hey, what's up? I am in pain. I'm crying. And I tell her, I just fell down the stairs. I'm about to give birth by November 15th. It had to be like October, maybe 20th. Don't quote me on the date. And I said, I just fell. I fell down the stairs. She like, oh shit, I'm on my way. She called 911. They both make it around the same time. They get me up on the stretcher. She's on the phone with Jared. She's like, hey, she just fell down the stairs. He's panicking. He's like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get there. I'm gonna be there. I get to the emergency room. It takes him quite a while to get there because he's coming from Sugar Land. And I'll finish the story in part 11. Part 11, the lies he told. So he makes it to the hospital. He has relieved Coco. She's headed out. I believe she had to go to work that day, but we truly appreciated her coming through. Shout out to you, Coco. He gets on the phone. He calls my parents. He calls my job. He lets everybody know what has happened. And he's there. He's present. At that time, he was the husband that I needed him to be. It came back that I had broke my ankle in 3 different places. All of us knew that surgery was going to have to happen. Surgery had to happen before I had the baby. This happened mid-October, and I was scheduled to give birth on November 15th. I don't do C-sections, guys, so, and that might be a little TMI, but I did not know that I wasn't going to make it to November 15th. First baby, I made it full term. I actually had him a week late. So with this baby, it was different. I went into my provider. They let me know, hey, we're going to have surgery scheduled. I think I fell like on a Tuesday, and surgery was I think surgery was that following Tuesday, like the next Tuesday. So I was in a splint at home for a while. I went to the hospital. I had the surgery. He was there when I woke up. He made sure everybody knew that I was fine. And we went home. Now, I lived in a townhouse, so everything was on the 2nd floor. Where things started getting shaky for me, and when I noticed that This probably wasn't going to be a nice ride moving forward because I was immobile. I could not make it up the stairs. I was a lot bigger than him at the time, and there was no way that he could carry me up the stairs. So guys, I had to use my arm strength to get up the stairs, one stair at a time, pulling myself with my upper body strength. It was hurtful. It was painful because I was pregnant. He still continued to go to work. He never stayed at home with me. He never told his boss like, hey, my wife needs me at home. I just really sat there and had to figure out life on my own. I still had to go to my appointments at the doctor. So when I went to the doctor, to my OBGYN told me within the next 2 weeks, because that's when I had an OBGYN, the next appointment. And she told me, she said, hey, you're only 2 centimeters dilated. I said, I'm dilating already? I said, the baby ain't due though till like November 15th. She was like, yeah, well, you're 2 centimeters dilated. She said, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you gonna have these Braxton Hicks. So just, deal with it. I mean, I know that you're in pain because of your ankle, but it is what it is. And during this time I had a knee scooter. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna deal with it. And so I'm still inching myself up the stairs every now and again. I went to the doctor on a Wednesday. That night at 11 o'clock, my water broke. I was about to get ready to have that baby. He was at home, and the way that he handled it, it broke my heart. He was in more of a panic and an attitude than I could ever be. I was so calm. I called my grandma. I called my mom, and I said, y'all, my water just broke. I'm about to get ready to have this baby. They said, and you can't walk? I said, I can't walk. I can't get down the stairs. Called the ambulance. 4 of the most gracious men came, and they said, we're not going to drop you. We got you. I was so scared. I had so much anxiety because I had already had anxiety from falling down those stairs, and to be taken down on a stretcher, pregnant, water broke, my husband all over the place, just a lot. I didn't even have my bag packed to go to the hospital. So I make it to the hospital. During COVID, there were certain restrictions. There was no way that it took my husband 4 hours to get to me while I was sitting in the room by myself going through those contractions. I have no idea where that man was for 4 hours. No idea. I sat in the room, and it was like the emergency room. So I sat there by myself, having those contractions. They could not give me anything. They could not give me anything because I was on blood thinners. I did not have an epidural. I had that baby just as natural, and I suffered through all of those things. All of those things. They finally put me in a room. There was no doctor in the room, but there was a nurse in the room and a nurse that was in training in the room. At around 3:30, my beautiful baby boy popped out with no doctor in that room and rolled on that bed. And he was at the bottom of the bed to catch it. And as soon as he caught that baby, he fell out. Fell out. And so I'm crying. I'm trying to, get myself together because now everybody rushing in the room, doctors coming in, everybody, they're like, oh my God, oh my God. So they're putting the baby under the light or whatever that is to the right. And they come to me and they said, ma'am, your husband is going to be okay. And I looked and I said, what you mean my husband going to be okay? They said, he fell out. I had no idea that none of this had happened. I said, what you mean he had fell out? Do y'all know when that bitch came back in that room, he looked at me and he said, I can't even look at you right now because I saw you with all of your insides hanging out of your body. And that disgusts me. That disgusts me. And after hearing him say that, my whole world shut down. One of the most beautiful times of my life was a complete joke and a complete insult at that point. That man got on that couch to the left of my bed and he slept for the rest of the night. And I sat up and I looked at that beautiful baby. And I knew then that this marriage was not going to last longer at all. Because how could you say that to me after having your first baby? How could you say that to somebody? You gagging, you making a say, doing that while telling me. That's the most fucked up thing that you could tell a mother that just could have lost her life for bringing life. How could you do that? I'm on a knee scooter still. My ankle, messed up. He left the next morning and he went to work. I was there by myself with the nurses. And I knew that I was in good hands because I was at the hospital. You always in good hands when you're at the hospital. But shout out to those nurses because they helped me. I appreciate that. So he would come back after he got off of work and everything, but it wasn't the same because he told me prior that he had FMLA. Then part 11, the lies he told. Part 12, the lies he told. So I contacted the job, his manager at his job, and they did not know that I had the baby. They told me that, hey, we will allow him to have as much time as he needs off, but he would need to let us know this type of information because he hasn't said anything. We knew that you were expecting. We just didn't know that you had already had the baby. I said, okay. He said he did tell us about the ankle, but he never told us anything about you having the baby. But congratulations. I said, thank you so much. He got upset with me for calling his boss. Why would you do that? Why would you call up there? I need this job. I said, what is the problem? Like, you have FMLA. Why didn't you submit the paperwork? He went all around the world about, I did submit it, and, they told me that I hadn't been there long enough to get it, yada, 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 but they told me that I could use my PTO days. Now, I do know that sometimes you do have to be on a job for a little minute before you can do FMLA. Now, I don't know about restaurant jobs, but I know in corporate America, you can't just get a job there and be 7 months pregnant and then expect for them to give you FMLA in 2 months. It really don't work that way. And if your job do it, don't knock mine, because mine don't do that. But anyway, so I believe that. I was like, okay, no problem. So I get out of the hospital. We get home. It should not be a surprise that he never did get up with the baby at night. I slept on the couch. When I slept on the couch, I would get up with my knee scooter when the baby cried. I would go to my little baby breezer, make him a bottle, give him the bottle, burp him, go back to sleep. I did that tirelessly until I couldn't anymore, until I really didn't need the knee scooter no more, none of that stuff, okay? So I had him on October 29th. My mother and my aunt came into town for Thanksgiving. They came in, they helped me, they did laundry, they did, running errands for me, like if I needed something. They just really came through in the clutch. My mom, she couldn't come as soon as I had the baby, but I am appreciative of when they were able to make it, because they stayed with me for quite a bit, and I really, really appreciate that. He cooked a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner for us. One thing I did tell y'all, he could cook his ass off. He really could. So he did that. We fellowshipped, we ate, we communed with one another, and then, they left. When they left, I pretty much was stuck, because I said, shit, my help gone now, because he was still getting up, he was still going to work, still getting up, still going to work. My sister ended up coming in town. Now, before I tell these details about this story, I want to make sure that y'all do understand that my sister is not a violent individual. Between the two of us, I can get with you. I really can. And my sister is the sweetest, most patient woman in the world. And this is also going to be hard for me to tell, because my sister has never, ever, ever seen me the way that she saw me that day. So my sister comes into town. I had a couple of visitors over when she was here, so that they could see the baby. Like I said, this is December 2020. We're still in COVID. So I had just a couple people over there. One night, I was on the phone with my cousin. Me and my cousin, we worked together. And me and my cousin, we were discussing something. And I am a big, big motivator, like encourager. And if you put that shit on, I'm gonna let you know you don't put that shit on. My cousin, he a noob. So obviously I made some sort of, I can't get my words together today, y'all. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I gave him a compliment. I'm so sorry, y'all. My mind is, because I'm trying to get the story out. I complimented him on something. Obviously, my husband heard it over the phone. Now, he was cool with my cousin. So cool that my cousin was his best man at our little ceremony that we had. There was no rhyme or reason for why he decided to get upset. My husband came in. I said, babe, hey, I'm about to Uber eat some Popeyes. What you want from Popeyes? He was like, give me a minute. I'm going to let you know. I'm still on the phone with my cousin. I let my cousin go. Me and my sister, we're discussing a conversation that I had just had with my cousin. Jared walked back through, and he creates a whole scene. Who you was on the phone with, going in. And I said, what you got an attitude for? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So it's a misunderstanding in the house. Now, my sister here. One thing you're not going to do, you're not going to embarrass me in front of family. If there's an issue, let's go to the room. Let's talk about it. Don't act no fool in front of my sister, because you'll get your ass slapped. When it comes down to my folks, don't do that. So I look at him and I say, man, what the fuck wrong with this man? What is going on? So I look at my sister look at me, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's storming out the door. He got his book bag on. I'm leaving. I said, so where you going? I need some space. You need fucking space. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, what you upset about? So there was nothing for him to be upset about. Let me be clear. Whatever I was talking to my cousin about, it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. Whatever me and my sister was talking about, it was nothing that could have offended him. He got so mad, he left the house, y'all. He left that house and did not come back that night. I told my sister, I said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit, because I get up every night with his fucking baby. I'm going in. My sister is like, I know. And she calm as she can be. And I broke down in front of my fucking sister, man. I broke down in front of my sister, man. And I went in and I told her, I said, I don't deserve this shit. I done did a lot for this nigga, man. I done did a lot, And so my sister had never seen me get like that. She had never seen me get like that. And my sister held me, man. She held me up that night. I love her for that. I love her for that shit, man. I do. So I called him that night and I said, man, where you at? Where you at? Oh, I got a room. You got a room? I said, what you going to get a room for? I told you I need some fucking space. I need some space. So my mind is everywhere, because we just went from, babe, what you want from Popeyes, to you walking in acting a fool about something so small. And y'all, to be honest, I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. And he stormed out that door, and he did not come back that night. That next day, it might have been around 1 or 2 o'clock. I called his phone and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm at the barber shop. I said, you at the barbershop. One thing about him, that nigga went to the barbershop every week. I said, you coming home? He said, I don't know. I ain't thought about it yet. I said, I tell you what, I'm going to call your motherfucking mama and you can come get your shit out of my house. He said, bet. You don't never tell me bet. Heartfelt. He told me over the phone he didn't really know when he was going to be coming back to the house. He also told me in that conversation that he had to go to work. So there was no way that he was coming back at that point in time when I needed him to. I don't know why I pushed the issue, but I did. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to call your mama. I called his mama. I said, are you at work today? She always had an attitude with me. Always. Never liked me. I said, are you at work today? And she said, no, I'm off, but what's up? I said, so I'm putting him out. I need you to probably come and get some of his things because I'm at a point right now where if you don't come get it, I'm going to start putting it in trash bags because I did put them in trash bags. And I said, I'm going to start throwing them down the stairs. And when it makes it outside, it's going to be up to all these neighbors to have a free pick of all these J's that I bought him, all the clothes that I bought him, watches that I've got him, just the things that I know for a fact that people would probably want for free. So if you don't want that to happen to your baby boy, you might want to come and pick it up. And I said it just like that. She said, babe, give me about an hour. I'll be over that way. I said it so calmly. What she didn't tell me was that she was going to be coming with a friend. And what she also didn't tell me is that she had contacted Jared and said, I'm on my way to that girl's apartment. You might want to meet me over there because I'm also going to call the sheriff to accompany us. Why didn't you need the sheriff to come? I told y'all the bags was going to be at the door. You didn't need to bring nobody to me. So sheriffs come. They knock on the door. I ended up getting into a whole argument with her from the balcony. And we going back and forth. I'm calling her a bitch. She calling me a bitch. He shouldn't have never married your stupid ass. I told you that, I told him that you wasn't shit. I knew that you was going to do him wrong and all that type of shit. And I said, do him wrong. Bitch, I done paid for more shit than you probably done bought in your whole life. I went off. Everything that he had ever told me about her, about how, she was a young hoe, all that type of stuff, I had went off. I said, and Pop done told me, because I said his real name. I said, by the way, Pop told me that he didn't even know if Jared was his motherfucking baby back in the day with your whole ass. I'm going in, bro. I done went for the juggler. Do you hear me? And so she was like, he said that. She going in. That motherfucker ain't told you that. So I called him on the phone. I said, man, CC over here acting a fool. She over here, because now mind you, I'm going with the tag name. I said, CC over here acting a fool, bro. You better come get your baby mama before I kill her. I'm saying all types of stuff. And he was like, calm down, daughter, calm down. What he done did. I told Dad everything. Now I'm on the phone with him while I'm sitting on the balcony. She's still down there. Yeah, bitch, I bet you won't bring your ass outside. Now her friend hyping the shit up. She ain't gonna come with that fucked up ankle. They down there acting in. They going in. And I told her if I ever catch her in these streets, she ain't got to worry about it. There won't be no talking. It won't. So sheriffs pull up. They say, ma'am, we understand that you don't want to let her in, but please let him in because he wants to verify that all of his things have been placed in these garbage bags. He want to make sure he want to do a walkthrough to make sure that nothing else in this house is his, because obviously you guys are about to go into a separation mode and we are just here to make sure that he gets all of his things. I said, I have no problem with that. I go downstairs myself because by this time, if I can remember correctly, I'm in a boot. This was in December now. So I go downstairs and I let the sheriff in and I let him in. And I slammed the door in the mama's face. She, let me at that bitch. Acting a fool outside. Do you know that bitch had the audacity to get on top of my government car and start twerking? And her friend recorded it. Why would you do that? Just stupid. So he comes in. He goes through. And he said, I believe I got everything. He did take like something that was in the bathroom. It might have been like a bag that had like a cologne or something in it. But he pretty much took everything out of it. And then they left. And that was it. He did not say anything to me about the baby. The baby was actually in the home. He didn't kiss the baby. He didn't say bye, son. None of that shit. Now, it's important to note, too, that when our baby came, he never really cared for our baby. But he always, and to this day, he still claims my oldest as his boy. He always cared about my oldest. Always. And he never really showed that type of love to the baby. I didn't pay attention to the red flag either. The reason that I felt like he really didn't pay attention to his own baby is because the baby looked exactly like him. I believe our baby just is a reflection of him. The baby looks exactly like him. I believe that's why. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I'm not in his head. So he leaves. We don't talk for a couple of days. I told my sister, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't get married to get divorced. None of us do. But I fucked up. I did. I told her, I said, I fucked up and I don't know how to make it right. And she was encouraging. She was motivation for me. And she told me, she said, it's gonna be all right. It all worked out in the end. And she did not lie. Because it does. She got back on the plane. She left. And I was back at home by myself again. He contacted me and he told me, he said, and this was a few days past, he said, I've been doing some thinking. I was wrong. He said, I was mad about some other shit and I took it out on you. But I want to make things right. I want to come home. This had to be the dumbest thing that I could have ever done. I let that man come back home. He said, I've been saying it It was like a Regency Inn. He FaceTimed me from the Regency Inn. He was at the room by himself. But I don't believe that he went to the Regency Inn just to be there by himself. I do believe that he was probably there with other women. I'll get into that shit later. But I told him, I said, I did not marry you for us to be going through, you know, a divorce so soon and annulment at this point. Because, I mean, shit, it ain't even been 6 months at this point. I said, so, well, it had been. If it was December, yeah, it had been about 6 months. And I told him, I said, so I don't want to, like, go through a divorce. I'm willing to try if you're willing to try, but I need you to come home, bro. Like, what you doing? You know, and he was like, you know, I'm coming home. And he did. He came home. He put all of his things back in the place that it was. And then we continued to resume life that way. Part 14, the lies he told. So he comes back and we regroup. We resume our lie. We get into another little spat because I found some stuff in his phone. Remember I told y'all previously about Erica. When he came back home, I looked through his phone. Most women look through messages. Most people look through pictures. Some people look through browser history. I look at bank statements. I look at Cash App. I look at Zelle. I look at all this shit. So I went through his Cash App. And Erica was named Erica in his phone. Picture was there and everything. The woman that he told me was a stalker bitch. She had requested a $40 Cash App, and the reason for the Cash App was wasted gas. This was on one of the nights that he claimed that he was staying in the Regency Inn. On top of that, I found messages with them, and she was saying, you know, why you didn't answer the phone? What the fuck you doing? You want me to come or not? So it was obvious at this point that he was cheating on me. I confronted him about it. I said, why was she requesting $40 for gas, for wasted gas? I said, where was she coming to? He said, I told you that bitch crazy. I said, well, what about the text messages? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, open up your phone right now. Let me show you, because I seen the shit this morning. When that man opened up their phone, the messages were gone. Completely gone. I said, so you wiped your whole fucking phone clean when you got up? Damn, that's crazy. You must have knew I had went through your shit. He was like, why the fuck you going through my phone anyway? I said, why the fuck is bitches requesting $40 for wasted gas? Why? And why would it be the stalker bitch? That's not making any sense to me, Jared. I don't understand. So we had a spat right before Christmas. We got into it real bad. And so he woke up on Christmas Eve and he said, let's get out of here and let's take the baby down to my dad in Lufkin. We left that morning and I was so excited to see Pop, because I told y'all that's the realest nigga that ever was born. I got down there, and at this point, y'all, my mind, my body, I was just in a different world. Because at this point, I realized that I was going through postpartum depression. And I was also having some thoughts. And you guys know what kind of thoughts. Because I was dealing with a baby full time, basically on my own. I was dealing with shit in the marriage with him. Found out he was cheating. And then it really wasn't nothing that I could do to wrap my head around how the hell I got here so fast. Because I'm telling y'all, I did the dumbest shit in the world. All of this shit, now that I'm replaying this back and telling y'all my story, this is some shit that you see and that you look at the next woman and be like, girl, I'm so glad that ain't me. But it was me. And it hurt, man. Because all of this could have been prevented if I didn't even call that damn place back. It's my fault. It's my fault. So we go down there to his dad. And, you know, his dad is so happy. We got pictures of him holding the baby. And he's so sweet. He's so sweet. And so we stay down there. And we get a hotel and everything. And we stay down there with them. We come back. He goes back to work. Things happen like usual. On December 30th, this definitely ain't gonna look too good for me. On December 30th, I went to Don McGill Toyota in Katy. He had been driving my 2018 RAV4 so much back and forth to Sugar Land. I noticed that when he would put a vehicle, whether it was mine or his, in reverse, before it would stop rolling back, he would hike it and drive. So therefore, you know, it would, you know, it's like a bounce thing. I know that that's bad for your car. I don't know nothing about cars, but I know that's pretty bad for your car. So it felt like my truck started missing all of a sudden. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to go. Me and the baby, we're going to go down to Don McGill, and I'm going to see if I can get another truck. He said, okay. All right, let me know, babe. He was at work, or allegedly at work. I go down to Don McGill. I'm down there 4 hours tops. I come out with a brand new 2021 Toyota RAV4. Beautiful. I get home, park it in the garage. I said, babe, I got a new truck. You know, life was, at that point, in my opinion, my life was going okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I had my husband. Half of a husband. I had a new truck. I had a new baby. You know, my oldest was on point. Like, you know, everything was everything. He's still paying bills, y'all. Still paying the bills. So he comes home and he was like, babe, I'm so glad you got a new vehicle. He said, because to be honest with you, my shit is on his last leg. Now he had a 18, maybe, Nissan Altima. It might not even been 18. It might have been like a 16 or 17. It was older. I remember it smelled like weed because he smoked. You know, it was pretty raggedy because he got it from Shabana Motors. And so I said, how about you go to work tomorrow, and I'm gonna go back down to Dunham and get you. He said, okay. So I go back down to Dunham McGill and I said, hey, my husband need a vehicle. They said, okay, what kind of vehicle does he have? I said, he has a 20 whatever Toyota Nissan Altima. I said, he said, well, you know, can he bring it in? So he brings it in. He worked at morning shift, so he brought it in. And they took a look at it and they said, you know, we can get you in a car today if you want to. He said, okay, cool. Now mind y'all, in one of those parts, I told y'all his credit was outstanding, allegedly. We get there. He gets there. They examine the car. They tell him, we can only give you, I think it was like $7 grand for the car. He was like, okay, that's better than nothing. He said, so we're going to get you to, you know, fill out this paperwork or whatever. You know, everything's electronic or whatever. He said, but, you know, let's see what your credit comeback is. His credit came back at a whopping 437. I was in shock. I said, how your credit score of 437 and you just said a couple months ago you ready to get a house and you told me at the beginning that your credit was outstanding, nigga. And he was like, yeah, a couple of my hospital bills that hit me these past couple of months. I said, hospital bills? He said, yeah, I got some old hospital bills from when I had my gastric sleeve that ain't been paid. So they just hitting my, you know, they hitting my credit. I said, okay. I said, so now what? He said, babe, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I ain't gonna cap. I really do need another car. Y'all know exactly what's next. I co-signed for that man to get a brand new 2021 Toyota Camry. I really wish I still had the picture so that I could show y'all the picture of us with 2 red bows on those vehicles. Both black, both brand new, no miles on it. Now we're moving to the next part. Part 15, the lies he told. So we leave the car lot, we make it home. Both of us are ecstatic because we have brand new cars. And I told him, I remember specifically saying to him, listen, I put my name on this car for you. I know how important it is to have good, reliable transportation to go to and from work. So don't fuck me over. If it ever comes to a point where you cannot make the payments on this car, let me know. Because, of course, since he's paying the household bills, I said I will step in and I will chip in on whatever it needs, you know, whatever happens. And so he says to me, babe, I got you. I would never fuck up your credit. I would never do that. It is important to note that when I signed for the car, the payments were $723 a month on a Camry. His car note was higher than my RAV4 note. I had a good trade-in, not so much him. I know, I believe the lies again. You'll see how they fucked me over in the end. So, I told him, I said, you know, next week I am going to start looking for a rental home. Because at this point, I knew that he couldn't get a house based on his credit score. I had just bought 2 vehicles on my credit, so I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to get as much house as I wanted to for the amount that, you know, I could get pre-approved for. So I didn't even think about buying a home with him. I said, let's just do a rental. And that's what we did. We started looking at rental homes on Zillow. I would send them to him while he was at work. And I would say, you know, hey, I like this one. I like this one. And so me being the person that I am, I said, since you travel very far to go to work, let's try to find a home that's closer to your job at Fish City Grill. He was making good money there, as I thought. And I just assumed that he was going to stay at that job. I did not know that in the next 6 months, he would no longer be at that job. We found a rental home in Fresno, Texas. It was for $15.95 a month. It was 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Beautiful home. My cousin lives a street over, so it worked out. Also, my cousin and his wife that, you know, tried to help us like with premarital counseling or whatever, they lived in Iowa Colony. And so we were down the street from them. We had already said, hey, y'all gonna be the godparents to our baby. And they were. So I was excited. You know, at townhouses or apartment complexes, you have to put in a 60-day notice. So I put in a 60-day notice, made sure the mail was forwarded out there, all of that good stuff. Now, I was set to go back into the office. I had got a promotion at my job. I was set to go back to work at the end of February, but I asked my new boss, is there any way that I could come in to the office after I move into my new home? He said, yes. I got the babies, a daycare out that way, and we moved in, and life started from there. Now, when we made it to Fresno, things became a little different. Reason being is because I had better access to go to his restaurant. And I would always go up there to Fish City Grill. I knew everybody there. They knew me. And I was also able to have a better commute heading downtown. So he would take the kids to school in the morning. I would pick them up. So every morning I was going into the office around 5:45, 6 o'clock. I would be off by 2:30, 3 o'clock, go get the kids from school. He, yet again, he always worked, you know, like a mid to late shift. So he would always go to work at like 1 and would get off whenever they closed. So if they shut down at 10 or 11, he would get home about 12 or 1. And that was just the restaurant business. I didn't think anything of it. So now we're in March. So March, we're kicking it off good. We love the new house. You know, he's like, babe, I'm so glad that we stuck it out. You know, I appreciate it because you believed in me when nobody else. My mom said to me when I first met you, like, you know, why would somebody like her want somebody like you? And, you know, she kind of crushed me a little bit, but in the same token, you kind of uplifted me. And to truly be honest, that's the only thing that I felt was genuine out of Jared's mouth, because I did really help him through a lot of things. So one day I was doing laundry and I noticed that there was something that looked like a sweet tart that was on top of my dryer. And, oh, another important thing that I need to tell you is that everything in the house I purchased with either my credit financing or I paid for it outright. So the washer and dryer is mine. Furniture is mine. I bought us a king size bedroom set from Furniture Queen and Katie. Shout out to Furniture Queen. They've been rocking with me for the longest. Like, I mean, I had the house fully furnished when we moved in. There was nothing missing, nothing at all. Made sure that we were straight. And I seen this thing on the dryer and I said to myself, this got to be some candy or something from the baby. So I discarded it. I ain't think nothing of it. Eventually I found another one. This time it was on the ottoman. And so I'm like, damn, what is this? Like, is my oldest bringing like candy home from school or something? Like, what is this? It looked like a sweet tart. You know, sweet tarts are different colors. They be orange, they be blue, they be white, they be light blue. You know, they be different colors. So I'm thinking it's fucking candy. I'm thinking it's candy. So I discarded that again. All right. So now, we're going to transfer over to May. Now we're in May of 2021. In May of 2021, he would always carry a book bag. I bought him a Coach backpack. And when I bought that backpack, he was happy about the backpack because he said, babe, this is so nice. I paid $500 for a Coach bag. Why? $500. I did. But I never knew what he carried in that book bag. Never knew. And so one Sunday morning, he was asleep, but he left the book bag in the guest bathroom by the kids' bedroom on the other side of the house. I walk in there because I was cleaning up. I was probably doing laundry or something, and I was cleaning up, and I said, let me look in this book bag. The fuck be in this book bag? And when I opened that book bag up, y'all, I found a baggie of different colored pills that was in that bag. Orange, blue, and white. I immediately took a picture of the bag that it was in, and I sent it to my cousin. And I said, what do you think this is? My cousin around the corner. And she said, I don't know, but I got a pharmacy friend. Let me find out. She sent it to whomever the friend was. And she told me, she said, now, according to him, he says that it looks like Addie's, it looks like Speed, and it looks like some type of pain med. But those are street pills. She said, Jill, where you get this shit from? I said, well, it came out of Jerry's book bag. She said, you might want to ask him about that. You might want to ask him about that. I said, okay. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet before I asked. Because at that point, I knew that I was dealing with a man that not only lied, but that was also taking street pills and was possibly addicted to them. Part 15, the lies he told. Part 16, the lies he told. So I flushed these drugs down the toilet. One thing I knew about my ex-husband was that he smoked hella weed. I knew that. And I never smoked with him either. But there were times where he would call the weed man and the weed man would pull up to the townhouse that we lived in or pulled up to the home that we were living in Fresno. And it could have been two different niggas. I don't know. But he would always have product. I knew that he wasn't dealing. I knew that he was actually doing the shit. I knew it. So, because I would smell the smoke, he would sit in the garage for hours when he would get off, and he would never be able to go to sleep. There were so many signs that I missed. Some of the signs that I missed was he hardly ever slept. He was always on go. He really wasn't very active in the bed like that. It was wishy-washy, you know. It was then, and it was then, and then it was might have been, you know, that type of stuff. So there were different signs that could have pointed to, okay, this man might also be doing something other than weed. But it never dawned on me that he might be into street pills. Never did. Because I really never saw that man take them either. But he always had that book bag with him. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet and I asked him. I said, I woke him up out of his sleep, actually. I said, Jerry, get up real quick. He said, what's wrong, babe? The baby okay? Yeah, the baby okay, nigga. I said, I got a question. I had went through your book bag. Okay, for what? I said, you taking drugs? Like you taking street pills? He said, that ain't none of your fucking business, man. I said, that ain't none of my fucking business. That's crazy in my motherfucking house you raising your voice. I said, that is my business. Because I've been seeing that shit trailing through my fucking house where my kids could get a hold of this shit. I said, so you on drugs. You taking street pills, ain't it? And I told him, I said, now you gonna either quit that shit or you go ahead and get on up out of here. Because one thing I'm not gonna do is put my kids in harm's way, fucking around with you, getting like this, and you leaving drugs every fucking where. That man looked at me and he said, I ain't gonna never fucking stop it. You can leave me if you want to. And y'all, I know y'all been waiting on it. But that is the day that I waited for him to go in that room and start ironing them clothes for work. When I tell you I unplugged that iron, and I put that iron on the floor. He said, what you doing? I picked up that motherfucking ironing board and I beat the fuck out that man in my baby's bedroom. I said, because what you not gonna do is you not gonna fucking disrespect me no more. Don't raise your fucking voice at me. I'm gonna beat your ass every time, bitch. And I meant that shit. I meant it, y'all. I really did. I beat that man with that fucking ironing board. I did. And I called my mama. And I told her, I said, I beat Jared ass with the ironing board. She said, don't do that. Don't get yourself so mad that you do something like that. I said, man, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck that nigga. So I tell her, I say, mama, he on drugs. He on drugs. So now we know that he lying, he on drugs. He go to work that day, he don't come home. Now this is the pattern that he starts of coming home and just leaving out when he want to. Don't know where he at, can't get a hold of him on the phone. He just coming in and out when he want to at this point. This is May of 2021. At the end or close to the end of May, my oldest at the time, he was getting ready to graduate pre-K and he was going to kindergarten. Mind you, I told you that both of my kids, I found a good daycare for them. So in August, my son was transitioning to the elementary school outside of that subdivision that we were in. So his pre-K school had a graduation ceremony for him. I would have never thought that my ex-husband would have missed this, but he did. He said, babe, I got a lot of people that been called out today. I'm not going to make Walker's graduation. I said, all right, man, it's cool. Part of me didn't want to really go by myself because at the time, me and Walker's daddy wasn't seeing eye to eye, and he was a little jaded because I had another baby, and, you know, he still loved me a little bit, but he married now, but, you know, I love his wife. I love his wife. So I go to the graduation, and I sit through it. I'm happy. I'm proud. Walker goes with his dad for the weekend because it was a Friday. And I decided that I was going to go up to Fish City Grill to get me something to eat. Me and Jared, we not on the best of terms, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go up here. I went up there. And as soon as I hit that door with that stroller, one of the best servers that was there, she was the sweetest thing. I don't even remember that baby name. But she walked up to me and she said, Mrs. Such and such. She said, how you doing tonight? I said, I'm good. And she had a look of confusion on her face. I said, where's my husband? And she said, he got off 2 hours ago. It was like 6:30 in the evening. I said, impossible. He missed my son's graduation because he said he was going to be working. Y'all didn't have enough people on shift. She said, oh, we have a full staff tonight. He told us that he was leaving for the night about 2 hours ago. So 2 hours ago would have been like 4:30. The graduation started at like 5. So I said, oh no, boo, let me call him. So she's standing right there. The restaurant packed. You really won't even know where to sit in there. So I kind of pull over to the side of the door. I make a phone call. He don't answer me. Doop. Call again. Doop. Forwarding my calls to voicemail. I said, baby, do me a favor. Bring me y'all restaurant cordless phone. So I called him from the restaurant phone. He picked up on the first fucking ring. Hello, this is Jared. I said, where the fuck you at, man? Where you at, nigga? Babe, wait a minute, babe. I had to go to Sam's to get something for the restaurant. I said, you a motherfucking cold case lie, bitch. I said, these people done told me that you done got off 2 hours ago and you missed Walker motherfucking graduation for what? Where the fuck you at, man? And I'm going in the restaurant. The lady said, Mrs. Such and Such. Mrs. Such and Such. Okay. I said, you lying. You a lying ass bitch. I said, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna get your ass when we get home. Don't worry. I got you. I hung up the phone. I said, baby, I appreciate you. She said, can I get you a water? Can I get you a salad to go? Can I get you anything? I said, babe, I don't have an appetite. That man lied to me. I said, is there any chance that y'all would have needed something in the kitchen? Any chance that y'all would have needed something in the kitchen? And he might have went to a local Sam's or a Kroger and got some ingredients or something because that's what he told me. She said, ma'am, Jared told us that he was going home for the evening. We are not expecting him to come back. He is gone. When I called him on that cordless phone, I could hear the wind gushing in the background like he had his window down in his car. So he was off for sure. But I have no idea where he was or who he was with or what he was doing. According to him, he was going to Sam's Club because the restaurant needed something in the kitchen. Part 15, the lies he told. So part 17, the lies he told. So now I'm on the phone with my cousin and I'm like, man, bitch, let me tell you about this shit. So we talking. And I told her, I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, between the drugs, between the lying, between all of this, I gotta get out, man. I really gotta get out, but I gotta figure a way out. You know, one thing I will say, and this is a little piece of nugget for any woman out there. I know that I kept saying in these parts, but he was paying all the bills, Sis, you can pay your own bills. I ain't never letting another nigga pay my bills again. I'm sorry. You're not gonna take away my piece. Because this was too much. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I get back home. And I ended the conversation with my cousin. I get the baby together. I put him to bed. By 9:15, he calls my phone. I answer. I say, what's up? He said, babe, I'm at Fish City Grill in Pearland. They needed some help out here. You want something to eat from here? I said, no, thank you. He said, all right, babe, I'm on my way home. I said, okay, cool. I fell asleep before he got home because he probably made it anywhere between 11:30. And I never brought it back up again. But it always stuck in the back of my head that he probably was somewhere with some bitch doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Or he was probably somewhere getting high. Don't even know. And it's irrelevant now. But it's the fact that he even lied to his place of employment. Because you told them folks that you was gone for the night. I don't even know if they had a GM on the floor that night. So it wasn't just me. So I got a phone call. I got a phone call within that same month from my cousin, and she was telling me that her sister wasn't doing too well. She said it wasn't going to be long before we would have to make arrangements to get ready for a funeral. My cousin was young, and that was a really tough time for my family. So I dealt with grief before anything. I dealt with grief. So I told him, I said, babe, you remember my aunt when we went to Mississippi? He was like, yeah, babe. I said, well, her daughter, the one that lives with her, ain't doing too well. I'm going to probably have to go to Mississippi at some point. He said, okay, whatever you need. I said, I'll probably just need you to make sure the baby cool. He said, all right. So I got that phone call one day while I was driving into work. So that'll come back sooner or later. And I'm sorry, y'all, I get emotional on certain points because I'm really not over her yet. I'm really not over it yet. So one morning, about 5 a.m, I get up. I'm getting dressed for work like a normal day. And I noticed that one of his phones is laying on the couch. He's in the bed. I don't know what made me, but I did. I went through the phone. Again, I went through the Chase banking app. I was concerned at some point because he was still making all of the bills. But he was also out of nowhere giving me extra money, whether it was extra money to get my nails done, extra money to get more wigs because I'm a wig finessa, whatever the case may be. He was just giving me bread. And I kept saying, where are you getting this money from? And he told me, he said, I got a bonus at work. I don't really think restaurant GMs get bonuses, but I mean, what do I know? During the time, I thought that was truth. And I went through that Chase app. And the same day that he was getting a deposit from Fish City Grill for his job, he was also getting an unemployment check from the government. I don't know how he pulled it off. And I will tell you that the entire time that I knew this man, even up until now, he has never filed taxes. Never filed taxes. I have no idea how he's getting away with this at this point in time. So I took screenshots of that. I said, okay, he getting unemployment. But I also go to his Cash App. And I noticed that he is making a lot of transactions to the weed man. But these transactions are beginning to be between $350 to $550 a week. And I said, okay, I know that he doing weed and I know he doing the pills or whatever, but man, I thought, me and him had talked about it. I told him, I was like, hey, I know what you said about the drugs, but you're gonna have to quit it. He did come home one day and he told me that he wanted to quit. This was before I found the stuff on the phone. And he said, I do want to quit, but I'll go to a therapist. I'll go to a therapist. I believed him. I also went to his T-Mobile account. And I also found out that he had been on the phone with this one number the entire time that he'd be at work. Sometimes the conversations were 6 hours long. Sometimes they were 9 hours long. And some of the conversations were occurring while I was at work and he was at home. And I did not know who the number was, but I screenshotted it too. Like, I took a picture of it from my phone, from his phone, whatever. I questioned him about it all. I said, what is going on? Again, he got upset. He told me ain't no reason that I need to be going through his shit. I told him, I said, we are married, Jared. You got to tell me what's going on. Because now you fucking with the government. What you got going on, player? Like, what's going on? Again, he started this shit up by leaving the house and not coming back. Anytime we got into an argument, he would leave the house and wouldn't come back for days. So I said, all right, man. At this point, I really do got to find me a way out. I really do. So I asked him, when I asked him about the phone calls, he said, you told me to get counseling. That's my therapist. I said, what's the therapist's name? Because you're on the phone with the therapist for 9 hours. Who's the therapist? He gave me some bogus ass name. And he also was the type too, when I found shit, he said, you figured out, you the one that want to know the answer to the question. He had that type of attitude. Once again, head between the washer and dry. Tearing that ass up. Don't please watch your mouth and watch your fucking tongue when you're talking to me. Because by that time now, I'm not going to lie, and it break my heart, I had become abusive physically. I most definitely did. Part 17, the lies he told. Part 18, the lies he told. So soon after I got that information, confronted him about it. He said what he said, he did what he did. I started thinking in my head of solutions to be able to financially uphold this house without this man being here. It was going to be tough. It was going to be tight. But I said, I will start packing that money down for the next 3 to 6 months. I'm going to stick this thing through. But I need to at least get a good 6 months of rent under my belt so that I can be comfortable with the savings account. Because I already knew that if we split, there was a possibility that he was not going to immediately pay child support, even though I was going to put his ass on there. So I got the phone call that my cousin passed. I went home before the funeral. I went home the day that I got the call about her passing. I went home to be with her mom, my aunt. I stayed there with my aunt until my cousin traveled with her family from North Carolina. When my cousin came in town, I think I spent the next night at home, like in Mississippi, and then I flew back to Houston. He was here with the baby when I went home. But when it was time for the funeral, which the funeral was during the week, I told him, I said, I know that you have to work. And when I go home, I'll probably be home for maybe 2 nights max. But when I go home this time, I know since you're working, take the baby to my cousin, which I call aunt because she is like an aunt to me. She helped me when I first moved here to Houston. I said, take baby to her in Fairfield, in Cypress, down there by the Outlet Mall. If you know where Fresno is, you know that from Fresno to Cypress Outlet Mall is a good hour drive. That's a far drive. I said, so just go ahead, take him over there. When I get back in town, I will go and pick him up, and then I will bring him back home. He said, babe, whatever you need, I got it. You know, I know that you got to go home for this. I said, okay, thank you so much. The day came where I got on the plane and I flew to Mississippi. My cousin, which is my aunt, keep in mind now, I call my cousin my aunt, but her son was living with her at the time. And my cousin is around 36. And for the story purposes, we're going to say his name is Dwayne. Dwayne is at home with my aunt. And Dwayne is going to be the one that goes and get the baby from the car from my ex-husband. So I'm on the phone with my ex-husband. I've already landed in Mississippi. I'm on the phone with my ex-husband and I say, hey, have you pulled up? Have you pulled up on my aunt? And he said, yeah, babe, I'm here. But what apartment you say she in again? And I said, don't look for the apartment because Dwayne is outside. He said, Dwayne? I said, yeah, my cousin Dwayne, that's her son. I hear the exchange of the baby. I hear him saying, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Jared. I'm Dwayne. I hear all that. And so I hear Dwayne saying, come on, little man. He got him. He closes the door. He said, all right, babe, I dropped him off. I said, thank you so much. We end the call. I'm at home dealing with my family because I just lost my fucking cousin. At this point, don't piss me off because I ain't no telling what I'm going to do. Because when I lose somebody like that was close to me, don't say nothing to me ill. Don't do that. That man contacted me that night while I was sitting in the same home that my cousin was living in. I never forget it. And he texted me. My aunt was on that couch. My cousin's mama was on that couch trying to rest because she had just lost her baby daughter. That boy texted my phone and he said, how are they related to you? Talking about the cousins that he dropped the baby off with. I said, that's my family from Mississippi. He said, but I'm saying though, what kind of relation is it? Are y'all first cousins? Are y'all second cousins? Are y'all third cousins? I said, that would be my mom's, if I'm not mistaken, second cousin. Now we're texting. I said, why? He said, because I've been doing some thinking. He said, let me find out that that's not your real family. I said, so who the fuck else would it be? You think I'm just gonna let my baby go with anybody? I said, man, quit playing with me, man. Don't start that. That's what I said. I said, I don't know what the fuck wrong with you. You probably off them street pills. Don't text my phone with this shit. I'm grieving right now. That's what I said. I promise you. I said them exact words. And he says, just let me find out. I called Dwayne up. It's probably 11 o'clock at night. I said, what you doing? He said, shit, playing the game. I said, what the baby doing? He said, in there with mom, sleep. Bet. I said, man, this nigga, he texted me with that bullshit. Now, Dwayne probably been out at that point, maybe roughly a year. So he fresh out. One thing that I want TikTok to know right now is my family, it run deep. I'm going to tell you now. So it is hard for you to make idle threats or to talk shit because somebody in the family don't see about you. I told him, I said, man, that man has contacted me and he talking crazy. And I know you don't really know him, but I'm just letting you know. He know where, y'all live. So just be on the lookout. If you're trying to come and get the baby, don't let the baby go with him. Because I'm going to be honest, I really did not trust my ex-husband with my baby. I did not. And so he said, oh, that nigga ain't coming over here. He not coming over here. What I didn't know is that Dwayne, in the course of the conversation, he asked me where he worked at, where my ex-husband worked at. And I told him, I said, Now at this point, y'all, he had left Fish City Grill. Now he at Grub Burger off of IT and Katy. I said, man, he work at Grub Burger. He said, what time they close? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. He said, don't worry about it. What I did not know is that the following day, Dwayne called up there to Grub Burger and asked for Jared. And he told him, he said, man, this Dwayne. He said, Dwayne. He said, yeah, Dwayne, the one that got your baby over here. He said, oh, yeah, man, what's going on? Everything okay? Do the baby need something? Y'all need more diapers or something? He said, no. He said, but I just wanted to call to let you know that my baby cousin called me. And I don't want to have to come and see about you. So leave it alone. I don't know what you think the fuck is going on, but that's family. So leave it alone. Jared calls me, going off. Man, your motherfucking cousin done called up here. Now it's my cousin. Now it's my cousin. Your motherfucking cousin done called up here talking about woo, 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 yada, 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 acting just like Jody motherfucking ass from Baby Boy. I said, I don't know what you're talking about.